Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Trust and Believe. Welcome to my closet. I'm here in LA and I have just started my full-on rehearsals for the production of Let's Get Up, my new dance workout. And I know a lot of you have subscribed to kind of get the behind the scenes and lowdown of that. And we have been filming some behind the scenes, which will come your way very soon. But today I'm going to talk about nutrition and how I get ready for a new fitness program beyond just looking good, but also feeling good. And I'm going to give you some tips on how you can do the same thing, whether you have a fitness shoot, whether you have a wedding, or you just want to be healthy all the time, which is the most important. So get ready to trust and believe.
Somebody say hell yeah!
What's up? He's better than Oprah. Come on, y'all.
This is Shaun T, and it's time to trust and believe. Hello, I'm Shaun T. Just in case I forgot to introduce myself, I am so happy to be here with you today. And if it's your first time listening or watching Trust and Believe, I just want to say welcome and thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. Today, I'm going to dive right into nutrition. And the reason why I want to talk about nutrition is because a lot of people out there, when they think of a fitness professional or fitness model, they don't really know what goes into the preparation of being on camera or being photographed while going through this process of the pressure of having to look good. And I'll first start by saying that I used to carry a lot of pressure of trying to look good. I used to carry a lot of pressure of trying to have a six-pack. And it was really a detriment to my overall health when you carry this unbelievable pressure of trying to rid your body of every fat cell and trying to give your body more vascular look. Now, for those of you out there who love that and who are bodybuilders and they do physique competitions, I praise that. I recommend that. And even those people will tell you that they do that in prep for game day, whether it's on stage or a photo shoot. They do it in prep for game day, but I believe that most people out there have a preseason, a game day, and then they relax. And that's what I want to tell you. It's not that I relax my fitness when I'm not shooting a fitness workout, but I want people out there to understand that when the camera comes on and I have to prepare my mind, my body, my energy to be in front of the camera, I have to do things that really enhance me fully. And the first thing that I do to enhance me fully is really hone in my nutrition and do it in a way where I don't stress, where I can still have fun, but I also feel really confident and look good on camera. And if you've listened to this podcast, a couple months ago, I did an episode on trying to look good, or how I used to try to look good for other people or live up to what a fitness professional is supposed to look like. And this past week was the first time I showed up to a photo shoot and I was like, I don't really necessarily, I care what I look like, but I don't really care, or I'm not going to beat myself up about what I look like today because I took the necessary steps. And I think that when I get ready to go into what I'm going to go into, I'm trying to motivate and empower you to take the necessary steps to be the best you can be in your energy, in your health, in your look, in your, if it's abs you want. It's really important for me to help you get there in the healthiest way possible. So anyway, I'll start by saying this. One of the things that I do, the first thing that I do when I know I'm going to have a photo shoot or I know I'm going to film something, is I do a full assessment of what I've been doing for the past probably month to 6 weeks. I don't really go beyond that because it doesn't really matter, because the past month to 6 weeks is where I've created either new habits or I've continued the things that I used to do. And so for me, when I do my assessment personally about getting ready to film or getting ready to do a photo shoot, I know when I do my assessment that I've done intermittent fasting. I know for a fact that that's what I do. I'm not saying you need to do it. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people go on it. Some people go off of it. And if you do intermittent fasting the correct way, you're not really off of it. It's a lifestyle. And so the thing that I know that happens with intermittent fasting is that I have basically trained myself for years now to know when my body is going to start getting hungry and not starving. There's a difference between starving and hungry. And I want people to really understand that. Some people say, I'm starving. No, you're not, right? You could just be hungry. Now, a lot of times when we get hungry, are you hungry for sugar? Are you hungry for energy? Or are you just bored, right? So there are the three things you kind of have to assess. Just a little tip. You have to assess when you say you're starving. But anyway, I digress. Back to my intermittent fasting. So what I do, and I've trained myself, is that when I get hungry, which is usually 17 to 19 hours after I've eaten my last meal, I know that my body needs energy. And I would say 88% of the time when I'm not shooting, I make sure I'm putting the healthiest thing in my body. Now I really make a concerted effort to make sure I have my food intact, make sure I have everything that I need for my first meal, so that I am not going to go into telling my brain that I'm starving when I'm really not, when I really just have to choose the right meal. And I'm not telling you to intermittent fast. I am telling you that when you eat that first meal of the day, whatever it is, you have to assess whether it's going to give you energy or whether it's going to fulfill, whether it's a Band-Aid, right? Is it going to fulfill you right now? I need some sugar. I want something in my mouth, and it could be anything. Or are you actually going to eat the thing and digest the thing that's going to make you feel good? And one of the things that I know I've done over the last 6 weeks that's really prepared me for this moment is I've really enhanced my last meal of the day, which is dinner, technically. And because that's the easiest one for me to really assess how I feel, because a lot of people get, cravings, those after dinner cravings or whatever. And what I've realized is now that I'm really honing in on my nutrition, and I'm eating more vegetables. So I love rice, but I don't eat the rice anymore. Or we mix the rice with cauliflower rice or broccoli rice. I start with a salad because I know I'm going to want more food. I know I'm going to want to have some more nourishment in my body to give me the energy. So then after I have my salad, then we have the protein, whether it's usually fish or salmon, and sometimes red meat. And then sometimes we have a carb, but our carbs are usually vegetables, asparagus, broccoli, some more broccoli, if you will, and sometimes a sweet potato. But what I've realized, and this is something I want you to take a strong mental note with, is whether it's your first meal of the day or your last meal of the day, if you are constantly going back for seconds, then you're probably not eating the right thing. One of the things that I was able to notice when I really started to hone in my nutrition for this shoot, and particularly not to go back for seconds, when if you're eating the right thing, you start with a salad, a healthy salad, and then you eat your food. By the time you finish eating your food, the nourishment is so good, your body's not craving what we all know our body craves when we don't eat the best thing possible, which is that sugar. I said it. The more sugar you have on your plate, the more you are going to go back to want to eat some more, especially if it's processed food. That's why it's so important for me, and I'm not trying to be a nutrition bully, but it's really important for me to, at this moment, to not have a lot of sugar on my plate on a daily basis. And I'll get to the fact that I still do my snacks and I still have my fun or whatever, clearly, because, you know, I do wine night and donut Fridays, so you know I'm having fun. But throughout the week, for me, I try to eat so that I don't immediately deplete my energy, and I don't immediately, and when I say deplete my energy, it's because I don't know about you, but a lot of people get that afternoon lull. And the reason why people get that afternoon lull is because they've probably eaten lunch, and their lunch is maybe be a salad, but they have all the croutons on it, and then they have a side of bread with it. Maybe not you, but a lot of people do. Whenever you go get a salad from a store, you order, they're always throwing a piece of bread in there, and they're always throwing something that you're going to eat that's going to make you feel immediately exhausted. It's so important for you to make sure that that first meal of the day is giving you energy. And I don't like to promise things, but what I can promise you is you won't crave seconds. And not because it's nasty, not because it doesn't taste good, because you can season some vegetables really well, but it's because your body is saying, thank you for putting this wholesome food in my body. Now, I'm not a vegetarian, but I can say that when you eat the vegetables, the correct vegetables, it does your body good. Chicken nuggets aren't going to do it, right? Obviously, I know that's silly for some people that are like, obviously, Shaun, but of course, chicken nuggets are not going to do it. You're going to eat, you're going to want more. You go to fast food and you get their chicken, I can almost guarantee you're going to want more, because there's something in that food that makes you want to eat more. Your taste buds get overwhelmed. And so when you take an active step to eat healthy, cook your food, or order food from a place where you know it's good and it's wholesome, and you start with that salad and you have those vegetables, you're less likely to go and want to snack again later. But I also want to tell you about the other side of the journey, which is the fun food side, in which what I used to do is go days and days and days and days, and sometimes a week and a half, 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. I'm not going to eat sugar. I'm not going to eat my fun stuff. I'm not going to eat whatever. And then by the time that day happens where I give in, then I'm just overwhelmed and I eat everything I want. For me, Donut Fridays, if you watch Donut Fridays, typically, most of the time, I have one glass of wine. And where I used to have like 2 or 3 donuts, I usually have one donut, or I'll take bites of different ones, because that's just what we do here. And I don't need to eat 4 donuts. But the point I'm trying to tell you is, I know that on Fridays I'm going to have my glass of wine, I'm going to have a donut. Here's the other thing, and I think I've spoken about this before. When I was 4.1% body fat, which I have to tell you guys a story about, which wasn't for me the healthiest, I was still able to have a glass of wine a night, or have half a glass of wine like maybe 4 nights a week, and I was completely fine with it. And it, because there are some benefits to wine, as you know, heart healthy and all that. But the point is, now, even though I'm where a lot of people call in the cutting phase, I'm still able to enjoy those foods, and you can too. Some of the tips that I have that's going to help you build your journey and utilize some of those tips that I just told you about in terms of eating healthy, I'm going to share with you right now. This may not work, but it might help someone you know. First of all, start with one meal, right? So what does that mean, Shaun? Start with one meal. Well, it's exactly what I did in the 6 weeks leading up to me knowing that I was going to prepare to be on camera, preparing for my preseason. I start with dinner. I assess dinner. I assess one meal a day that I know that I'm going to eat healthy. I may need to say I need to eat a little more. I need a bigger salad. I need less things in my salad. I need a little more dressing. I don't. I know what kind of meat that I like. I know how to season my food. I start with one meal that I know I can make extremely healthy. Because if you start with that one meal that you know that you can make extremely healthy, and that one meal is also going to be the meal that shows you that you don't have to go for seconds, or you're eating enough of that food where you don't feel like you are craving more food. If you start with that one meal, that is your base. That is your base. That is your foundation. And that's why I tell people out there who are on a weight loss journey, and I've done this with clients before, I personally don't try to change your entire life in one day, because sometimes it's just not doable. Some people don't do cold turkey really well. And so I just want you all to know that you start with one meal a day. So then I started with dinner because I wanted to I wanted to feel what it felt like not to have to go back to the cupboard for an extra snack. The first meal in your day. So if you start with the first meal in your day, one of the great things to assess is if you get sleepy afterwards, especially if you're getting that afternoon lull. One of the things that I love to do to kind of get me past my eating window is I love Bevy tea from Beachbody. So good. There's 2 different types of tea. I use it as a fasting tea, even though they don't call it a fasting tea. But for me, it's my favorite, and it's really great. And it doesn't make me tired if I have more activity to do before I can break my fast. But if you're a person who's like, well, I definitely need to eat, I don't want to intermittent fast, I strongly recommend you assess that first meal of the day every day until you get it right. And if you do that, that'll set the foundation for the rest of your meals throughout the day, because you will know what you need. You will know what kind of things send you in a tailspin in terms of like cravings, and you'll know what kind of things make you feel really good. Here's the thing that's really interesting that I've noticed, especially, I'm going to be 43 years old. My body's not the same. It changes. It's different. You have to work a little harder. But one of the things that I was able to notice as I continued the journey is that when I actually do eat, and when I finish eating, I actually forget about the fact that I'm craving something. Right? Because we're so accustomed to eating and, I want some more. I want to go back for seconds. I actually eat. And sometimes I don't even finish eating all of my food. I eat slower, and I will leave my food on the table because I have something else to do. And Scott later is like, are you going to eat that? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not even hungry anymore. There was no sugar. There was no processed food. I started out with a great salad, and I just feel good. So that's one thing. If you forget to eat all of your food as you're going through this process, that is money for you, because you know that is just a point that you can give yourself to tell yourself that you are on the right path. But don't get that confused with starving, because some people could be like, oh, well, you're not finishing your food, you're not starving. I'm not telling you to starve. I'm literally telling you to design your first meal, or at least one meal out of the day, in a way that you will be able to set a foundation for yourself to not overeat. And that's going to be the end of my first little tip of eating and my first little week of Let's Get Up here. Just to give you a little fun fact about the program. It's not, so a lot of people are asking, what's the program about? It's not Hip Hop Abs. It's not Rockin' Body. I mean, this program is going to have all different types of feel, all different types of energy. It is a full-on dance conditioning program with a really incredible toning section in the middle and a really incredible insanity workout in the middle of a dance program. Because I listen to people, and a lot of people love dancing, but they don't feel like they get a big workout. Well, this workout is going to make you sweat. It's going to make you feel good, and you don't have to get on the floor. So make sure you obviously follow me on Instagram if you don't, or go follow at Let's Get Up Beachbody so that you could be the first to know when it releases. And I'm so thrilled that you showed up today. Thank you so much for listening. I will be in this closet for the next couple of weeks, and then we go to Hawaii to film, and I'm so excited. Thank you all so much. Please leave messages or comments in the comments below. I love looking at conversation starters if you guys have them, and I just appreciate you showing up. And don't forget to trust and believe in who you are.